Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Russia. It's round 4 of the European two-stroke championship presented by FMF Racing. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for joining us today on MXGPTV.com, where we have two strokes, EMX2 54-stroke, MX2 and MXGP action, not just today, but all throughout the weekend. We are just a couple hours drive south of Krasnodar. We're on the edge of the Black Sea, and this racetrack here at Orlyonok, just at the back of all of what you can see here, the children's camp, of which we're now on the calendar for the last 3 years. And it's a gloriously hot day as well. We arrived, some of us on Thursday, some on Wednesday, and it's been in the mid-30s since we arrived. Obviously a little bit cooler than that today, but not much in the way of breeze. 28 to 30 degrees here, and not a cloud in the sky, barely. And it's going to be a tough race for the few 250 two-stroke guys that have showed up this weekend. Umbrellas, 2 years ago, we needed them for the rain, but there's no sign of water here this weekend on this hard pack circuit. There it is, just under 1,700 meters long. Quite fast, though, as a racetrack, because lots of open space. Even the hills are nice and wide and flowing, so it keeps the lap time short and the RPMs high and the overall speed high as well. But 11 riders making their way here this weekend, one of those being Russian, and that is Lurli Lukash. He'll be riding the number 42 on a Honda two-stroke. So almost like an old relic itself, that thing, because they've not made two-stroke Hondas in how long? But a fantastic backdrop here anyway at the edge of the Black Sea. Mike Krass leads the championship. He took over the championship leader's red plate last time out in Portugal. Anderson now just 1 point behind the Dutchman. And then Václav Kovar is next. Václav Kovar 17 points off of Anderson. 6 behind him is Todd Kellett, and 7 behind him is Yuri Van Tender. Van Tender not making the trip here, just his teammate, Mike Krass. Of course, he is the championship leader on that Team EcoMax Fuels KTM. Well, we've got green flags at the back there, so obviously we're making our way down to the line. They've just been on their sighting lap and just checking all what's out there. Luzbo, you see there, number 62 on the A1M Husqvarna. He was fastest in time practice, which is why he is leading the riders out there. There is the first sighting of the number 55 on the red plate of Mike Krass, the new championship leader. Well, you're going to have to brace yourselves for this start list. Here's how the riders line up today for the first race. Andero Luzbo will go to the line first for A1M Husqvarna, then Václav Kovar and his Gas. Brad Anderson for Birdie Substance KTM. Todd Kellett on the Yamaha, Charlie Putnam on the RFX KTM, racing powered by PAR Homes. Mike Krass on the EcoMax Fuels KTM. Pier Filippo Bertuzzo. Rob Hollyoak for E2T Racing Husqvarna. Max Bulow of Germany. Lurli Lukash and Francesco Galligari. There's Krass, your championship leader on the EcoMax Fuels KTM. 3 rounds after this, we go to Latvia next week. Then we are in Italy later on in the year, in Turkey. So we'll have a bit of a break between Latvia, round 5. There's Brad Anderson. What can he do to grab back that championship leader's red plate? We've been so used to seeing it on the front of his bike the last couple of years. Václav Kovar, he was on a podium here last year, 3rd overall behind Andero Luzbo and Brad Anderson. So the Gas rider, who was just 3/10 slower than Andero Luzbo, number 62 here, in time training. Are we going to see a Husky whole shot, or is it going to be one of the KTMs of Krass? There's Kellett, just over on the right side. So you've got Anderson over on the right side, number 1, then Todd Kellett, the 998. There's a 91. Charlie Putnam on the RFX KTM. powered by PAR Homes. But I think we're getting ready to go racing here. Number 42 on the Honda there, look right of the box, third gate over. The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up then for the first time this weekend, down the turn to 5. And the gate is about to drop here, and EMX two-stroke, race 1, is away. And it is Lusbo who gets to the line first, but crash right there behind him in second as Kellett sneaks up the inside, takes over the lead on his Yamaha. So Kellett leading the way then, 9.98 as they climb the first crest for the first time. Takes the riders directly past pit lane, over the pyramid scrub, and then dropping downhill here. And then a series of jumps onto different levels, dropping down through this one, scrubbing again, and then up onto this plateau. Takes the riders back downhill in the opposite direction. Hard, slick, stony ground. They put some new dirt on top as well. The riders then, some of that is quite heavy, quite claggy, like here, and down by the finish line area. But Kovar there in the green pants. Where is he? Fourth, just behind the number 1 of Brad Anderson. Or fifth, actually, just behind Anderson. Kress, number 55, dropping out of sight there in second. The 62 and the number 1 of Andero Lusbo and Brad Anderson just right there behind him. Waves a little bit shallower than they have been over the past few years, but they are still there. Oh, a little bit short there for Kellett as he came in to land over that corner Monster Energy scrub jump. A couple of corners from the finish line here. Kellett will cross the line as a leader. Still riding with that damaged finger he picked up in Mantova, of course. Right, over the line for the first time. Kellett, 2.5 seconds clear of Kress. He knows that as long as he stays clear of Anderson, he's going to be extending that points lead at the top of the championship table. Anderson in 4th place at the moment. Kellett looking good at the head of the field though. All 252 strokes this weekend, or for this whole series actually, in the 2-stroke championship, the European Championship presented by FMF Racing. Anderson might just take himself a couple of laps to get warmed up here. New little single there at the bottom of the hill. That's the only sort of minor change really as they head up hill. Anderson now looking impatient to find his way past the 55 of Kress, because Lusbo has already done it. Kress takes a look over to his right-hand side. Thinks about closing down the door. But Anderson is right there, and so the 2 championship rivals are in each other's wheel tracks. Anderson needs to keep a cool head. So too does Kress. Of course, if they do make any mistakes, not going to be losing too many points with just 11 riders on the line this weekend. But even still, the aim of the game is to pick up as many points as possible, obviously, especially when you're fighting for the championship like these two are. Anderson was a 1:43.7 in time practice, Kress a 45.4, but he knew anywhere in the top 11 would be good enough for a gate pick. Did the number 55, so maybe it was just holding back just a little bit, but more of a sandman, but he has won on the hard in the past, of course. Kellett still leads though. Lusbo is second, 2.6 seconds behind. Anderson is next, then Kress, then Kovar, as Kress disappears out of view. Pierfilippo Bertuzzo is 6th, Rob Holyoke now 7th, Charlie Putnam 8th, Max Bulow 9, Francesco Gallegari and Yuri Lukash. And Lukash was still waiting for him to come over the line. His time this morning was a 2:06.5. Only Francesco Gallegari was slower on the 5:31. He's in 10th in the race, already 42 seconds down on the leaders. Here is Kress. Highest point of the racetrack. Ooh, a little bit short there for Kovar. And he's pulling up as well. Looks like he might have either suffered a technical problem before then. Let's go back to the 101 of Kovar, because he's definitely cruising round now. So I don't know if he just landed awkwardly and he's stuffed an ankle or a knee or something like that, or a wrist. But he's definitely looking like he's in limp mode here. And, well, that means if he doesn't start the race tomorrow, then we're going to be down to 10 men. So Kovar cruising. I wonder if it was just because he bounced the tabletop at the top end of the circuit just a few moments ago. So Kovar out of 5th. Not ideal when the next round is in a week's time in Latvia at Kegans. Kellett leads the way, less than 2 seconds now though, because Luzbo has just set the fastest lap of the race. And you can see he's closing in on the Englishman. That's not 1.9 seconds anymore, is it? Luzbo all over the back of Kellett as they drop downhill, and Kellett got a little bit squirrely at the top there. Anderson about 3.5 seconds off as they hit the lead, the finish line just a moment ago. But Luzbo, who's 7th in the championship and desperately needs the points here this weekend, is going after the race win. Been a difficult season for him so far. And the highest he's got was a 3rd in race 2 in Portugal last time out, but that was only good enough for 4th overall. Andero Luzbo picked up a couple of race wins last year though, one of them here in Moto number 1. And also at Matterley the week after, or the round afterwards, where he was a winner in race 2. So looking to do what he did last year by winning the first race here, Andero Luzbo, but he's sat in 2nd at the moment, trying to find his way past Todd Kellett. Track very hard underneath, loose rock. And then crowning rock as well, just beneath the surface. Less than a second as they hit the line, so another 43.8 for Luzbo. Kellett a 45.0. Anderson 3 seconds adrift. He'll go back to the top of the championship by a point if he stays ahead of Kras in this one. Kellett holds a tight line. He knows that Luzbo is there, trying to make his move. Not an easy place to pass on here. They just pulled that little dip there in the bottom of the hill, you can see. Before it was more of a drop-off going into the bottom of the hill there. This is where Luzbo came in so short a lap ago. And Luzbo, sorry, not Luzbo, Kovar. Good recovery though this from Todd Kellett. Sensed the danger. He's realised that Andero Luzbo is closing, or was closing. He's got that gap back out again to a nice distance. Ando just pushing the dirt a little bit wide at the end of that wave section. So the Verdi Substance KTM rider looking to get on the gas to make that downhill. It's nice and polished up at that far end of the circuit. Is Ando getting ready for a second half charge here. Dropping down towards the finish line. Both these two over the line. Gone out 1.3. Kellett sets the fastest lap of the race. So a good recovery for the 998 on the Yamaha. The EcoMax Fuels KTM there of Mike Kras. He's 9.5 seconds off the lead, but he also knows that there's more to lose than there is to gain here this weekend, probably. Just needs to keep a calm head. Kellett going after his first race winning European Championship. Luzbo going for his third. And it's these two that are battling it out at the moment at the head of the field. They've got about 3 seconds over Anderson. Back markers. Oh, Kovar's still cruising around, look. It's obviously just trying to ride this one out just to pick up points, but I think he would pick up points anyway, even if he was to pull out now. But he is in 11th place. Francesco Gallegari and Yuri Lukash have both found their way past the Czech rider. One of the nicest parts of the racetrack here, where they do the corner jump straight down through the canyon and then up onto a huge tabletop and then up again. What's the gap going to be this time around? It was 1.3 after lap 5. 1.3 still. In fact, just 300ths quicker was the 62 that time around. Lukash about to get lapped here, look, on that Honda. Kellett easily past the back markers. Is that Gallegari just ahead of him on the Maddie Racing Husqvarna? I think it is. Yeah, he moves out the way. So 5:31, Gallegari having a one-off ride here this weekend. Well, certainly not scored any points this year if he's entered any of the other races, but anyway, here's the battle for the lead. Continues between Todd Kellett and Andero Luzbo. There is the 101 of Václav Kovar, still cruising, still thinking of picking up those points. See the two-stroke there, just starting to burble up a little bit because he's in cruise mode. Smoke pouring out the back of that tailpipe. Up onto the final plateau before they descend down to the finish. You see how gnarly and nadgery those ruts are. Anderson was 3.9 off the lead a moment ago. What's he going to be when he gets the line this time at the end of lap 7? Well, the lead at the top has closed again. Another fastest lap this time goes to Luzbo, a 42.993. Gets it down to 0.8 of a second. Ando's starting to slip back. He's 4.2 off the lead now. So Kellett 43.4. Luzbo 42.9. 43.7 for Anderson. 46.7 for Mike Kress, who's definitely here. Just see out this first race. Thinking about race 2 tomorrow, maybe. Top 2, though, almost side by side as they start whipping it for the crowd on this end of the circuit. Hard on the brakes when you land, straight into those braking bumps, tight ruts, short incline before dropping back down the other side. Kellett still hanging on to the lead here. Hard and slick on the exit of that turn. Need the throttle control just to get over that corner tabletop. Kellett's led every single lap. Got up the inside of Luzbo through the first turn, right at the start of the race. Been there ever since. 8 laps in the books now. And you don't need me to tell you that the gap was 0.4 of a second that time around. There's Anderson, blurred in the distance. 4 seconds adrift of these guys. Just letting them get on with it. Ando knows as long as he stays ahead of Kress, he'll be the new championship leader. For now, at least. Kellett. Still fending off the challenge. Oh, Luzbo a little bit whiskey. Panic rev as he came to the land. The over jumps, landed in some ruts. Showed us a little bit of leg swag as well as he hit the next one. Bit of a panic moment for him. Oh, bit of a kick there for Kellett. He got out of that left-hander. Through this left, again launching downhill. Looks further than it appears on TV. Through the corner as well, actually, because you've got your takeoff is straight. And the downside is across 45 degrees to your left and a lot lower, and then into that big, deep canyon. Here's Mike Crass, the EMX2t Fuels KTM. He's in 4th place, championship leader when we arrived here, hence why he is running a red plate on the front of that KTM. 1.9, good lap again for Kellett. 43.0, 44.4 for Luzbo, the pursuer there, number 62. Anderson 4 seconds back in 3rd. Here's Crass making his way to the finish line now. .21 seconds off the lead. 16 seconds behind Anderson. Wonder what Luzbo has up his sleeve here, or what about Anderson? Because he was quicker by a second than Luzbo last time around. Luzbo was a 44.4, Anderson a 43.5. And he has the Estonian on the A1M Husqvarna in his sights at the moment. So I wonder, next 8+2, Anderson can do something about that, because that'll be another 2 points that he'll pick up over Crass, which means he'll be 3 clear. And if Crass wins the second race tomorrow and Ando goes second, they'll be tied on points as they head to Latvia in a week's time. So Anderson starting to push. You can see it in his body language. Dropping downhill towards the finish line area. 44.1, 43.8, 43.4. He is getting closer, is Anderson. Here's Kellett, new race leader. And there's Ando, top of the hill. They're there within touching distance. The top two, Kellett and Luzbo. Ando just needs to figure out a way to find a little bit more drive somewhere and close down that gap. But fantastic location. Look, Black Sea out there on the horizon. Scorching hot day. No wind. Not easy conditions for these guys. Bit of breeze on this top end though. See the flags just blowing there, but not much anywhere else. Kellett. These two are playing a little bit of game of cat and mouse, aren't they? Oh, back end just got a little bit leery on that Yamaha of Kellett as he got out on the gas. Caught an edge, had a bit of a swap, but he was committed to doing the jump and he kept it in there as well. Managed to get the distance. The gap we're keeping an eye on though is the 4.3. Watch this here, the rider up front on the gas. 4.5, so pretty much static then the gap. Kellett pulling a tenth of a second over Luzbo as he launches up onto this plateau. Big heavy landing that is. and dropping down. It's rare that you see a circuit like this these days where there are so many ups and downs, undulations. You get onto a plateau, then plunge away again, then guess what? Rises again and again. All right, there is Anderson. All through the first sector. And Luzbo and Anderson both quicker than Kellett through the first sector this time around. Sector 1 is from the finish line to the sort of series of undulations before they plunge downhill. Pulls it back though a little bit. Kellett. 4.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Oh, again. Back end wanted just to work its way towards Kellett's left on takeoff. Yeah, Ando not making any ground on these guys now. Nice there, Kellett getting all the way over that double step down over on the right-hand side. 43.5, 43.4, gap 1.6 between first and second. Ando still less than 5 seconds behind. There he is, the number 1, defending champion. And the Verdi Substance KTM. Is that Galagari again? Yep. Mike Crass heading up past pit lane. 30 seconds off the leaders. Just having a nice Sunday stroll. There's Bertuzzo. Where is he? In 5th place, Pier Filippo Bertuzzo. So the Italian on the Yamaha. Having a nice quiet ride. 13th in the championship at the moment. Didn't do the first round at Matterley. Best he's had is a couple of 7th place finishes along the way. Mike Crass out on his own in 4th place. Mike Crass, championship leader before we arrive here. Just wants to get this race out of the way. Who knows, maybe just not bringing his race game with him today. Maybe he'll come back fighting tomorrow, but as it stands right now, he's a point behind Anderson in the championship, 138, 137. Before we came here, Kellett was 3rd. 4th in the championship, he'll move up to 3rd, on to 120, because of Václav Kovar, who looked like he's tweaked himself, coming into land on one of the jumps early on when he was in 4th or 5th place. But this is the battle for the lead again. Less than 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. So it's going to be a 3-lapper from here. Luzbo getting ready to roll up those sleeves of his. Oh, we're going to see a last lap dash. Kellett will be heartbroken if that happens, because he's done everything right so far. Got out of the first turn ahead of everybody else. He's led every single one of these 13 laps. Luzbo's got close. Kellett's responded. Opened up a gap. Luzbo has responded. And Kellett found himself under pressure again. Anderson always lurking in the background, 4 or 5 seconds off the pace. Good enough, though, in 3rd to regain the championship leaders. Well, the championship lead at the moment, because the red plates won't be dealt with until tomorrow. But Kellett just coming into land. 3 laps to go between these two, the 998 and the 62. Ando still 5 seconds off the lead. 2:44, Max Bülow of Germany. That for a ride on a Saturday afternoon stroll. How blue groove it's getting down there. That's about where the first sector ends, from the finish line to there. Sector 2. A little bit further round. Right, Kellett again being caught by Luzbo. Luzbo sounded like he just came into that turn all on the clutch there and on the brakes. Tried a different line, a little bit loose and rubbly. Rob Holyoake doing his best to move out of the way on the 172 E2t Racing Team Husqvarna. He's in 7th place. But Kellett and Luzbo not able to relax themselves too much here. 2-lap board about to go out. And we're still no closer to deciding which one of these two is going to pick up the 25 points and the race win. Right, 2-lap board out now. Kellett 1:44.08, 44.06. The gap just over a second. There's Anderson. More than 5 seconds down now. That's a heavy landing up onto that plateau there. It will be a mistake that decides this one, won't it? As he hit the Patron climb. Oh, a little bit long on the landing there, Kellett. Unless he was deliberately going for the over jump just to get over the other side of that braking bump. Looks like he's opened up a gap again though. Final 2-lap push. Will it pay off for Kellett? Just over a second before they entered this penultimate lap. Getting his head down here. Going to work, one more lap to go. Oh, cuts a new line there, and Luzbo tries to do something similar. Just a little bit wider, and a bit of a panic rev there for the 62 as he hit that jump. So a 42.9, fastest lap of the race then for Kellett this time around. 44.0, that gap's doubled, 2.1 seconds. So a good response by the Brit. Still can't afford to relax though. So the last 2-lap push paying off at the moment for Todd Kellett. He's had a good first sector as well. 3/10 quicker than Luzbo on this final lap. Not saying Luzbo has thrown in the towel, but Kellett has made it very difficult for him in the last lap and a half. Just needs to maintain his focus. Of course, these were the two that collided in Mantova, which saw Kellett lose the top end of his finger. Handful of corners to go for the Yamaha rider. Nicely over that final jump there. The final one that could cause problems, where you can't get over it for whatever reason. Final right. Final left. Takes a look over his shoulder. Drops downhill for the final time. Todd Kellett wins for the first time and takes his first European Championship win as well. And you can see what it means to him. He wins by 2 seconds over Andero Luzbo on the A1M Aspana. Brad Anderson will take third for Verdi Substance KTM and take over the championship lead as well. And that win also promotes Kellett to third at the expense of the injured, it would appear, Václav Kovar. Here's Mike Kress, just going through the motions, doesn't want to take any risks, doesn't want to do anything stupid. Been in cruise mode since the first couple of laps. So Mike Kress then making his way towards the end of the lap. But Todd Kellett, fantastic ride for him, picking up his first win. And he will be getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland any moment now. There's Kress, championship leader before this weekend. He'll lose that lead. But Todd Kellett, your winner in race 1. Here he is getting talked to Lisa.
Congratulations, good job holding on to that lead. You made it difficult for Lousberg, and you also got your first European Championship race win. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't believe it. I didn't actually plan to be here. It was a last-minute thing, and I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's helped me out, especially my girlfriend. It's literally just me and my girlfriend here today. My dad couldn't afford it, so we made a big effort, and I can't thank my girlfriend enough. It's paid off. Good job.
Yeah, good job, Team Kellett. Picking up his first European Championship win. He was absolutely ecstatic when he came over the line. He's still buzzing as well as a result of that, but did everything right. Came out the first turn first. Held off Luzbo right to the checkered flag, and in the end, a last lap surge or two put him 2 seconds clear. Give you official confirmation then of EMX2t Race 1 presented by FMF Racing. Todd Kellett, your winner. Andero Luzbo taking second. Brad Anderson third. Mike Kress fourth. Pierre Filippo Bertuzzo was fifth. Charlie Putnam sixth. Rob Hollyoak 7. Max Bulow 8. Yuri Lukash 9. Francesco Galligari and the unlucky Václav Kovar. Right, let's take a look at some of the highlights, shall we? From that first EMX two-stroke race. Absolutely riveting first turn. Todd Kellett over the back end of the bike. He braked early just to tuck in the inside and capitalised on the mistakes of Kress and Luzbo. And as they hit the line for the first time, it was number 998, Kellett, who led the way. Kress, though, quickly got passed by Luzbo. Didn't really look like he was in the mood, Kress. And then just behind him, Brad Anderson moved himself past the 55. That put him into third. Kress was then fourth. Then Kovar, just a few moments before this, came into land over on the top end of the circuit. Landed a bit awkwardly, looked like he may have just tweaked a knee or an ankle, and eventually came home in 11th. He was fifth, the rider who sat in third in the championship. Just ahead of your race leader here, Todd Kellett. Kellett was going to capitalise if he was to stay where he was. And the battle up front was an intense one. Pierre Filippo Bertuzzo eventually came home in fifth place on his Yamaha. Kress just limped around for fourth. He was happy just to pick up the points here in race 1. Max Bulow got caught, probably not for the first time, but Brad Anderson was doing his best to keep these two riders in check here, but he was starting to lose the pace. Eventually he dropped to 12 seconds behind the leaders, but over the final descent, it was Todd Kellett. He had one last look over his shoulder, and he went on to win by just over 2 seconds for his first EMX win. Wow, fascinating stuff then. EMX two-stroke competition here, presented by FMF Racing Race 1. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. And guess what? Best moments coming up, and we'll be back in about an hour and a half's time for EMX 250 Race 1. 4 o'clock for that one, local time. Time here now is 2:30, so hour and a half. See you then.